Every fall, gardeners race the frost like it's a countdown clock, pulling everything out before the first hard freeze hits. Here's what nobody tells them. For 5 specific crops, that freeze isn't the enemy. It's the thing that makes them worth eating. Garlic, leeks, bunching onions, carrots, and collards don't just survive a hard freeze in your backyard. They use it. A carrot pulled straight out of frozen ground carries more sugar than the same root pulled in September. Get these 5 in the ground before your first frost, and while everyone else's garden turns to frost-bitten mush, yours sits there in the cold getting better, with nothing else required from you all winter. I used to be the guy yanking carrots early out of pure nerves, convinced one hard freeze would ruin the bed. Every year I did that, I hauled in a starchier, worse carrot than the one still sitting 3 feet away in the ground. All 5 of these need weeks in the ground before that first hard freeze, not days. Miss the window and the harvest doesn't shrink, it disappears, because none of them get there once the ground goes cold and stays cold. The calendar doesn't care that September got busy. Cold hardy and maintenance-free get treated like the same thing, and for years I made that mistake too. Kale will make it through a light freeze, so will lettuce. But both of them are asking you to show up with a row cover every time a hard one rolls through, and that's not a winter garden, that's a part-time job with vegetables. The 5 I picked don't ask for that. Once they're established, you leave them completely alone and the cold does the rest of the work. The bar I used to build this list was whether I could ignore the plant completely and still eat well in February, not whether it could merely survive. Garlic is the easiest thing on this list, and it earns that spot honestly. You dig a hole, you set the clove, you mulch it, and you walk away. What's actually happening underground is that garlic needs a stretch of cold, weeks below 40 degrees, before it'll bulb up properly in spring. No cold, no real harvest. That's the whole trade. Get the timing right for your zone so it's not sprouting too early. Lay down 2 to 3 inches of mulch over the top, and in most winters, that's the last time you touch it until spring. The one mistake that costs people a full season, planting too early while the ground's still warm. The cloves sprout right away, spend the winter exposed instead of dormant, and never bulb properly. Garlic wants patience more than it wants attention, which might be the one plant on this list with its priorities completely straight. Green onions, spring onions, whatever you call them where you're from, they're some of the most forgiving, cold-tolerant food you can grow. And people underuse them because they think of them as a garnish instead of a crop. Here you're harvesting the green tops, not the bulb, over and over with a pair of scissors. Cut what you need, leave the base, it grows back. Growers in the coldest winter zones report these things standing through temperatures most vegetables wouldn't survive by a wide margin. The mistake is pulling the whole plant like you would a scallion at the grocery store. Clip the tops instead, and the same planting keeps feeding you for months. There's one crop on this list people assume needs a hoop house and a heat lamp to make it through winter, and it needs nothing but the right timing. That one's next. Leeks are where this whole plant it and forget it idea really clicks. You're not growing them for a bulb, so day length doesn't push them to bolt the way it does onions and garlic. That means you can get a leek to full size, and once it's mature, it just stands there. Days get short, temperatures drop, and the plant basically stalls in place like a vegetable sitting in the world's slowest refrigerator. Whenever you want one, you walk out and pull it. The timing is everything here. You want that leek to reach full maturity before the hardest freezes show up, because a mature leek shrugs off cold that would set back a young one. Get the transplants in early enough, late summer into the very start of fall, and they'll have put on enough growth to stand through winter without blinking. Plant late, and you've got a leek at seedling size trying to survive its first hard freeze, which is a much rougher fight. I did that one October, got a batch in the ground too late, and by the first hard freeze they were still pencil thin. Lost the whole row. Never made that mistake twice. If you've pushed leeks through a real hard freeze before, I want to know how cold you got away with. Drop the number below, I read every one of them. Collards are the one item on this list that asks a little more from you than the rest, and it's worth it, because collards handle cold better than kale does, and that surprises most people. Growers pushing collards through single-digit weather, some report temperatures as low as 5 degrees, come back with only minor tip damage on the plant. There's another reason it's worth the wait too, and I'll get to exactly how that works when we hit the last item on this list, because the same trick is happening underground in a different vegetable. Same rule as leeks applies here, size before cold. A collard with a big mature head handles a hard freeze far better than one still filling in, so get it in the ground early enough in fall to bulk up first. Harvest leaf by leaf instead of the whole head and the plant keeps producing. Some backyard growers get well over a year of harvest off a single plant handled this way. For the hardest freezes, 26 degrees and below, a blanket over the bed on its own usually isn't enough. What works is a blanket first, then a tarp over that to shed rain and snow, pulled off again once it climbs back above 45. In the worst stretches, packing a foot of straw or leaves underneath that combination gets you through nights that would otherwise take the plant down. In anything milder, you likely won't need to cover it at all. One more thing most people never realize about collards: you don't need a packet of seed to start them. A bundle of collard greens from the grocery store usually comes with a small piece of stalk still attached. Stick that straight into the soil and it roots. I haven't bought collard seed in years because of it. Whatever you're planting this week, one thing applies across all 5. The pests are still fast and active in early fall, faster than they are in spring. Check the undersides of the leaves before the cold sets them back, or you'll lose growth to something other than the weather. Here's the one that proves the whole point of this video: carrots don't just tolerate cold, they convert it. As soil temperature drops, the plant turns stored starch into sugar, and the exact same carrot pulled in January tastes noticeably sweeter than one pulled in September. Same mechanism I mentioned back at the collards, same trick, different vegetable, and it's why both of them belong on a list built around cold-making food better instead of just letting it survive. The tops will bronze and take some damage once you're down around 10 degrees, but the root underneath can handle freezing all the way to 0 and keep going. The move is the same as leeks and collards. Plant in late summer so the roots hit full size right around when the hard freezes start. Once they're there, they stop growing and just sit, and that's exactly what you want. Growers in real winter climates leave carrots in the ground the entire season and pull them as needed, straight out of frozen soil, all winter long. If your ground freezes solid enough that digging becomes impossible, that's the one exception. Pull them before that point and store them in a garage instead. But everywhere short of that, the ground is doing your storage for you for free and improving the product while it does it. This is exactly why I stopped treating frost tolerant as one category. Carrots and collards prove it the same way. The cold is what improves them, not just what they get through. This is the difference between a garden you forget about all winter and one that's quietly working in your favor while you do. If you've got a backyard bed, get garlic and carrots in first. Those are the 2 least forgiving on timing. If all you've got is containers or a couple of raised beds, every one of these 5 works in that smaller footprint too. Carrots and bunching onions especially don't need much depth or room to pull their weight. Pick your first frost date for your zone, count backward, and get in the ground this week if you can. A late start by a few days is forgivable. A late start by a month usually isn't. If this is the kind of thing that's useful to you, subscribing means you don't miss the next one. If you want to dig into this further, I've got some tools and a full guide on the site, links below. My call: garlic and carrots go in the ground this weekend. Those 2 punish a late start the most, and everything else on this list still has a little room to forgive you.